One point, you end up the season just below 500, but dealing with a lot of injuries. How do you assess how this whole thing went?
Well, ultimately, we didn't get where we wanted to get. We want to be playing postseason baseball for this year and the upcoming years. I think we're all aware of. So we're not there. There were a lot of positives to take away from the season. We found out, even with the injuries, as negative as those can be, we did find out a lot of good things about some of our young players. And we had some guys that stepped up and did some things. Nate Carnes, Erasmo from the pitching side. Then the opportunities that presented for a guy like Logan Forsythe to kind of have a breakout year. Ton of positives in regard with him. Our young players that have come up and contributed have done some nice things for us. I think we all know we see some deficiencies that we got to improve upon in the offseason and into spring training, but we're very optimistic moving forward about good health, and we have good players.
Any thoughts on that? What areas you want to work on or think about going into the new year? Is it
specifically as far as position
some
or
deficiencies?
I think for team deficiencies, I need to do a better job of the base running. We've talked about it. We've had too many outs on the bases, and I am responsible for that. I got to get a better sense for how to manage that part of the game. We got to find a way to win the close ball games, especially late, because we're going to be in close ball games. We pitch well, we catch the ball, we prevent runs, and that's something we did well this year. But we got to do it better to come out on top of some of those close games.
How do you feel yourself as far as being able to go into it, having a year under your belt and things where you're not worrying about it being the first time and you're able to move into the year next year?
Yeah, well, there's going to be comfort. I think, though, the second you lose that anxiety or those nerves for any opening day or any spring training speech, there's something to be said for having that because you care so much. So that's not going to change. But we've experienced a lot. We've learned a lot as an organization, Matt and myself together. There's been a lot of communication with the players. So, I'm not going to say it's never easy. We're going to be more informed going into next year.
Evan's going to end up with the most games played for the last 3 years in the major leagues, by about 3 over Kyle Seager is the next closest. Do you appreciate more what he does to grind each day that you've been with him now for a full season?
Without a doubt. From a distance, playing briefly against Evan and then, coaching against him, he's a special player. To get to see it firsthand and how much pride he takes in being out there every day in the lineup and providing what he does in the lineup. There's the appreciation that you came in with, and now it's probably doubled seeing how he goes about his business on a daily basis.
You're going to talk about things to be excited about next year. You mentioned the younger players. Assume that you just assume they're all going to be better, and they're all better for the experience, right?
Well, definitely the experience. You can't simulate that anyway. Whatever we do in spring training, it's not a big league game. The pressure is not the same. The atmosphere is not the same. So what a lot of our young players are gaining right now, that's the hope that the benefit of this month or these 2 months that they were here is going to comfort them into making them believe they belong here and they can help us win.
Right, and then it naturally trickles down. It should help the team be better because they're better.
Correct.
What about the offense? The fact that you guys did what you did, the adjustment you made with philosophy change, you've talked about, that would probably be encouraging that you could carry.
Yeah, that's something we have to carry over. Our offense, everybody pinpoints the lack of getting it done with runners in scoring position. Well, I guess our thought is if we can continue the approach that we've taken from the second half, those numbers will probably naturally improve. And you can't sit there and tell the guys to stay aggressive in the offseason. It really doesn't matter. But that intent will go in. We'll hit the ground running in spring training and kind of have the guys and the communication to back that up going into the season. We were a better club offensively when we kind of made the adjustment to the approach.
So they can't be aggressive in their golf swings or their fishing casts. It's not going to help.
No, I don't think so.
You guys always say that a lot of decisions are made in September in a post spring training. Do you feel like you have you're obviously probably not going to tip your hand, but you feel like you have a pretty good idea of what you want to do next year with some of the guys you have? from watching in September?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say we have a good idea of what what our lineup or our roster is going to look like. We have a better sense of each individual player and how that fits on our team next year. There's still a lot to be determined what goes on this offseason. But we like a lot of the things that we've seen from the guys that have gotten some opportunities here as of late.
I mean, for example, you look at a guy like Matuk, who maybe if he wasn't around in September, you're looking at him strange.
Right. So I think Mikey Matuk's a perfect example of how optimistic we are for him or a guy like him coming in with the experience they've gained. I think there's all the additional factors that take place in the offseason. You can't quite anoint anybody in any role yet. And that wouldn't be fair to him or the organization to do.
Similarly, do you think this is an off season where you guys need to do a lot? I mean, obviously you have some free agents. You don't know if you're going to need a shortstop, need a DH, but do you think you have a lot of stuff to do this off season?
Personally, for me, I don't see a ton that needs to be done. I mean, we're going to continue to try to improve and get better. And if there's options out there, I know our Matt and our guys upstairs will do their due diligence to help us in any capacity, put a good team on the field.
But you don't look at it as one of those winners where you got to.
We have to go get
bunch
something
of stuff
done.
to
No, I personally don't. That's probably a better question for Matt and the guys up there.
Would you see if you, with what you have out there now, with a healthy pitching staff and with some of the guy like Jennings who's hurt now, with everybody healthy, you like what you got out there? You like the chances of what those guys can do out there?
Very much, yeah.
You could see Burley get to 200 innings.
Yeah.
It'd be 15 straight years. Something that we might not see.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit here as of late. You could argue he's been as valuable as any pitcher in baseball over the last 15 years. I mean, he's so efficient, and you hear his teammates talk about him and what he's done. Good for him. What a career, and hopefully he gets it.
Just one last injury report. What Logan, is he out today? Or?
Yes. Yeah, Logan. Everything is fine. Went and got some more testing and scans. It's just got him in a spot that the soreness just won't get out of there.
So it's still just considered a bruise.
Yes.
And Kiermaier?
KK's down, back kind of tightened up. I haven't even got around to checking with him yet to see if he's available. I would imagine he would be available.
So maybe a run or something.
Right.
And Archer, just because there was some video of him last night flexing his arm a little and early departure.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's funny because I think Arch does that all the time. There's been numerous times in May and June that I've looked at Hick on the bench and said, what's he doing out there? So that was nothing unusual. I think, Arch, we did the right thing as an organization to get him out there, get him out of the game, and I think he's fine.
Right. I mean, you don't go into this have any concern that there's
None.
anything wrong.
None whatsoever.
Everybody good?
Thank you.